Hi there, Elevated Planet community. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet. And today I'm with Derek Savory, who is our UFO expert, experiencer, and healer, and a myriad of other things as well. Derek, I'm delighted to have you here. How are you doing?
Thanks for that, John. I'm doing fine, really am.
So, Derek, for the unfamiliar, I'd like to start at the beginning. Could we go back? Rendlesham Forest. I'll let you take us back to the beginning, Derek. You know the story a lot better than I do.
Well, this is my perspective, what I see. In December 1980, just after Christmas, I was driving my friend's girlfriend back home. On the way back, we see this big ball of fire in the sky, massive ball of fire. And my friend said, if that, whether that hits, that's going to total our entire town. It was a massive ball of fire. So we was sort of driving towards it. It then changed direction. I thought that's not a ball of fire. It's not falling to the ground. That's changed direction. I mean, looking at things now that could have been a missile. I don't know. I've never seen a ballistic missile or something back in 1980, but that changed direction. So we tried following it in the car. Because our first thoughts were, if that hits a village or a town, they're going to need our help, you know?
Right.
And we didn't have a mobile phone in them days in 1980, so we couldn't exactly ring anybody. So it was literally following it in the car. We was going all around these windy roads. Anyway, then we lost sight of it. But on the route, we travelled several miles trying to follow this, and we lost sight of it. But there was loads of people standing around watching it, looking up to the sky and seeing it. Well, we got back home, and I thought, well, looking at the paper next morning, there was nothing in the paper. So I rung up the local paper and said, like, about this ball of fire. And the lady who answered the phone said, well, we've been inundated with calls that people have seen this. She said, there's probably a meteorite or something falling out the sky, or it might have been an old satellite falling out the sky. I said, it wasn't falling anywhere. I said, it was controlled. It changed direction. We see it. Anyway, the following day, it appeared in a newspaper, a little bit about that big, little tiny bit, right?
Yeah.
And they left out the fact that it was controlled. Whatever it was controlled. And it was a real cover-up story. But that really affected me thinking, because I'm thinking, they're not telling us the truth here, you know. And about, I was going to join the UFO group, but I didn't really know anybody involved with that sort of thing. And about 3 years later, it appears in the local paper, the News of the World newspaper, that UFO had landed in Rendlesham Forest. And when I was looking at the dates, I thought, hang on, that's what we see. So anyway, I joined a local UFO group in Colchester, Essex. It wasn't just UFOs, we'd done paranormal stuff and other stuff as well. And as time went on, then we used to meet once a month. And we went to Rendlesham Forest with us. I went to a big conference up in Sheffield and sort of started meeting people. But I never forgot what I see. Around about 2008, I had a stroke. And it basically changed my life, my whole life. I thought it ended at one time. A couple of years later, I'm starting to get better. And I kept getting these voices in my head like, get back to UFO stuff, get back to UFO. So I've gone along to a conference in near where I live now, in Woodbridge. And I've walked in there, and couldn't make it up. One of the ladies who used to be in the Essex group was there, and she's one that actually the main researcher in 1980. Would you believe?
Right.
Her name was Brenda Butler. She wrote a couple of books. She is the main investigator in that incident. I met her there, and she recognised me, and so did somebody else from being part of the Essex group. So I sort of felt quite at home. One of the things, there was a program on TV by a guy called Richard D. Hall. He had his own TV series, and one of the programs he had on was he was interviewing an old boy up Yorkshire way, and he was talking about a UFO had landed and these particular beings and what they'd done to him. And I'm watching this, and the hairs on the back of my neck. Exactly what he said had happened to me when I was a little kid.
Wow.
Like these beings, I thought it was a dream at first when I was a little boy. Only probably about 4, something like that, 4 or 5. And I remember these beings got me out of bed, and they told me to stand still, and they injected something in the back of my neck. And they said, if you move, you die. I'm only a little boy, and I was finding out my life. Well, I got put back into bed, and in the morning I woke up, and I thought, little boy, I thought that must have been a dream. I must have dreamt that.
Right.
And I scratched the back of my neck, and it started to bleed. Something had been on the back of my neck. But all these years later, I thought, well, it's either a dream or it was real, but it must be a dream. And then I watched this program with Richard D. Hall, what this fellow was saying, and I thought, that's exactly what happened to me. The same looking beings, everything, spot on. I've got to meet that Richard D. Hall and tell him my story. I went to this conference, 300 people there at the Woodbridge conference, 300, one spare seat. And guess who sat next to me? Right? Richard D. Hall. And the best bit was, he wanted to interview Brenda Butler, who also there, and remembered me from the Essex group. So anyway, I had a chat to him about this, what happened and one thing and another. I thought, what is the chances? But that kind of, I thought, I'd ask the universe that I wanted to meet this fella, and I did. Well, now I've realised you can use the universe a lot more than what people realise. Like, give you another example. I wanted to meet Eric Van Daniken of Ancient Aliens. Didn't get to meet him. And he was on in London a few years back. I had a chance of a ticket to go and see him in London. And to be truthful, I couldn't afford it. As it turned out, I didn't realise it was a free ticket, to be truthful, but I couldn't afford it. And I couldn't afford the hotel, so it never happened. Anyway, the following year, he comes back to Manchester. And I thought I'd love to go, but I can't really afford it again. And I got a phone call from somebody who had a spare ticket. And they said, Derek, if you want, we'll pick up in the morning. I'll take you there. And while we're along the coast, also, he said, you've got an invite to meet him in private. I said, you're kidding me. Said, wow. So there I got to meet Eric Van Daniken, who speaks 5 languages fluently, who can understand my Essex accent. But what I'm saying is, I wanted to meet him, and it happened. When they have these events, they normally have a raffle, and they normally put a couple of tickets up to win the raffle for the next event. Well, I won it. I won the tickets, right? This year, and they had told us she was at the Awakening conference there again, this time in Blackpool. They put 2 tickets up for raffle, and I won them again. When the guy, Steve Mira, come down to see one of the tickets, he said, Derek, haven't you won these before? I said, I don't. It's you. You've done it before. And you won tickets at Gary Heseltine's thing. He said, once is lucky, twice no, 3 times, 3 different events, you win the tickets. I said, well, these things happen. It's the universe. Because it means a lot to me to go to these events, and because the first time I couldn't afford to go, now the universe has given me the tickets, have the tickets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 3 times, you couldn't make it. This last event, there's 1,000 people there. I'm not saying they all bought raffle tickets, 1,000 people. And the first one, there was 3,000 people. Now, how do I, little old me, nobody, win the tickets? Why? And how do I meet certain people?